episode of Heels Up. I am a slightly wounded Vlad St. Valentine, and with me is the only one who matters, Mr. Reggie Lincoln. How you doing, sir?
All right, how you doing, buddy?
Well, you're starting to look like Roland Deschain from the Dark Tower over here, but I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I sliced the finger open. I know the rag looks kind of dramatic, but this is my makeshift sling because anytime I extend the finger completely, it tears the wound open again. So,
ouch!
This is just to keep me from extending my hand. So, I'm not just taking healing tips from Elias or something like that.
I understand.
So up first, we get Paul Heyman out with Roman Reigns, and now Roman's standing there letting Paul talk for him, which was good because if Suffering Succotash was the best Roman can put out there for us. I think he really probably needed Paul.
Yeah, he really did.
But Paul delivers this great promo about people said that Paul Heyman corrupted Roman Reigns, but really it was Roman who corrupted Paul and brought Paul from obscurity after he was cast out by being fired from the Smackdown writer. Is that what he was? Smackdown writer?
I guess so.
I think it's Smackdown or Raw writer. I think it was Smackdown writer. Anyway. Moot point. So Paul delivers a great damn promo like he always does. And for once, I was more excited about Roman during this promo than I have been ever about Roman. And I'm not a Roman hater. I just don't care about Roman. So
it makes Roman look good. It really does.
It pumped him up. But after, Paul gave Roman the microphone and Roman said some stuff, I don't even remember what it was because I was so keyed in on what Paul had said that Roman just, who cares after that point? Roman's tough. Roman's going to beat everybody up. That's basically the gist of it. But Paul can deliver the same message over and over again. My client's the baddest man on the earth. But every time it's different and it's engaging, it's enthralling. That man can work a microphone.
He really can. And this is honestly the Roman Reigns I've been looking forward to ever since I started watching him.
People have been screaming for heel Roman, yeah.
And now we're getting him. But, the same people that were screaming for a heel Roman is now complaining because he's beating some of their favorite guys.
Well, I complain too, but about, only because the Fiend is eating shit like always. But they kicked him in the balls and they had him pin Braun. And also Roman didn't come out and look terribly, tough during that thing. He had a hard time pinning these two guys and he was looking opportunistic. So it didn't make Roman look like as dominant as a Brock did. It almost made him look like, kind of almost a conniving heel almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I like
he took the easy route.
Yeah, I like the way it played out. I really do.
Yeah, I really do too. I like how these stories are playing out now. They're getting better at this.
Taking some pages out of Seth's book a little bit, But it was seeing Roman in this position is okay. I'll tell you what, the only thing that weirded me out though about the payback match is when he kicked the Fiend in the balls, and my first thought was like Monster Squad, like Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman's got nards.
Yeah,
Fiend's got balls.
He knows everything in the world, but you can't. I guess you can't stop a swift kick to the nuts, man.
The Fiend is one of those things that's kind of anamorphic, and you wouldn't think had genitals at all. It's just kind of a demon. You wouldn't think he would have anything to kick down there. It's kind of a thing. I didn't really think about it having nuts that you could kick. That's interesting. I guess Wolfman has nards.
I guess so.
Yeah. But anyway, Paul Heyman says there's going to be a fatal four-way tonight because they're bigger and better than the WWE Championship, which had a triple threat. So we're going to have a fatal four-way tonight with Sheamus, Big E, Baron Corbin, and Matt Riddle. So after the Paul and Roman promo, Heavy Machinery comes out because they're going to have a match later. We go to commercial, we come back, and Roman's walking backstage with Paul. They see Jay. Roman gives him a hug, but then he acts kind of distant. Jay's like, me and Jimmy trying to get a hold of you, text you, call you, where you been? He's like, I've been busy. And Paul looks kind of sideways at Jay and walks off. And then Jay kind of asks Roman, he's like, hey, you trust this guy, all the shit he's put you through? And, Roman's like, I got this. And he kind of blows Jay off a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
He's got this new arrogant attitude that, we're playing into the new Roman Reigns. And I think it's great to see the interaction with his family because we know how tight he's been. To see him act shitty to them is going to help grow that bad attitude exponentially as far as storytelling goes.
Hey, and more to come from that too.
Yeah, good move. So it was a nice little back and forth between them. It's also good to see an Uso on television. So
yeah, of course.
So up next we got Heavy Machinery versus Miz and Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Miz and Morrison, God bless them for eating as many pins as they have been lately, but it doesn't really seem to hurt them because they're still just entertaining in their heels. They're kind of supposed to be. But they do end up losing tonight to Heavy Machinery. Actually, Otis hits a Vader bomb. I don't know if he calls it something else, but it was a fucking Vader bomb. He hit a Vader bomb on Miz for the win tonight.
Oh, yeah. And you know what else? It's about time that Heavy Machinery starts getting some wins under their belt, man.
Yeah, as a team, as opposed to just Otis on his own. I'm glad Tucker's back. And instead of just being like, well, Tucker, now that you're back, but we've got something going on with Otis, so you just stay in the sidelines. They're letting Tucker actually be part of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Mandy Rose wasn't here tonight with them. You figured she'd be out hanging out.
Yeah,
with
I
them,
know,
but
right? And another thing is, I can remember far back when, Miz and Morrison were the champions. They actually beat Heavy Machinery. I think this was like a revenge thing, man.
Maybe, but at this point in time, you know who's going to win is the person who's the most over, and Otis and Tucker are way more over than Miz and Morrison right now. Or at least Otis is because of his Mandy Rose relationship. We're all digging it. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's Mr. Money in the Bank.
I mean, and we're rooting for the average guy to get the extremely hot chick.
I'm rooting for a fat guy to get a hot chick. I'm a fat guy who got a hot chick. More power to you guys. So after the match, though, Morrison grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase and scampers off with it, and Otis and Tucker look a little concerned. And so, he scampers off. He's got the contract now. So this will probably be a storyline going on throughout the night. Otis and Tucker trying to get the briefcase back. So we're going to see where this goes.
Yeah. Hey, I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Well, Morrison's so funny that I'm always glad for more screen time for him. So
yeah, him and The Miz, honestly, like, I love those two, man.
they're great off each other. Yeah, they work great back and forth. I mean, you took away Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics, which was a damn shame. So at least leave me The Miz and Morrison because they're the only two.
Hey, ho, ho.
So we cut backstage and we've got E and Drew Gulak and the Lucha House Party are all standing around a birthday cake for Xavier Woods because apparently he's coming back tonight to host Talking Smack. And then it's also his birthday. So, E's ready to give him his cake. And one of the security guards comes out and says, hey, Xavier's here. So E goes walking out with the cake. Get your narrow ass out here. As soon as he walks through a door, though, he eats a brogue kick by Sheamus. Sheamus whips his butt and then puts him through a car windshield with a white noise.
Ooh, that was brutal, man.
Absolutely brutal. Just completely takes E out for the night. And E's the first person to get carted away in an ambulance this evening. Don't worry. There'll be more. Apparently, this is their new thing. They tried to cart the Fiend out.
This the Manatee's new thing.
Yeah, the Manatee found a new ball. The cart someone out in an EMT or in an ambulance ball.
Yeah.
So you got, they tried to do it with the Fiend, and then he broke out. Then they did it with Drew.
Man, what would that Manatee grab next?
So we come back to the commercial, and we've got Big E being worked on by the EMTs, and then Sheamus comes up and cuts a promo.
Yeah, of course. And, he just talks about how, once again, Big E wasn't focused and he let his friends drag him down again. But they feel like Sheamus set him up for that.
Yes, that's the implication, of course. Well, we're not children, so we know Sheamus set him up, but of course, he plays dumb. So Sheamus is, of course, just being a dastardly heel as normal and prolonging that feud that he's got going on with Big E. So, which works out for the end of the night in the Fatal 4-Way because we see that Sheamus is going to go on to feud with Big E some more and not onto other things.
Yeah, of course.
Spoilers.
And we seen no Xavier Woods either.
No, Xavier Woods, I'm guessing he wasn't anywhere near the building. He'll just be on Talking Smack tomorrow or whenever it is, whenever they hear that. I don't know. I don't watch it.
I'll check it out.
After Sheamus plays dumb a little bit, we cut to an interview with BS backstage, Bayley and Sasha, and they talk about how they're going to, they're prepared for Nia and Shayna now. They've got a tag team title match, a rematch up later on tonight. And now they're ready to go. Who cares? It's boring. It's their usual shtick. But, Sasha's definitely desperate at this point in time with having lost both of her belts. Back to that, we cut to commercial.
Yeah, and once we come back from commercial, we get to an interview with Adam Pearce, who doesn't seem like much of a lackey anymore. And
definitely gets more screen time because now we remember his name.
But yeah, he says it's still going to be a Fatal 4-Way. They're just looking for a replacement. That's when Paul Heyman comes in and drags him away. Like, okay, what does he have up his sleeve now?
So perhaps Paul and maybe Roman, through Paul, are going to influence who that fourth person is. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
So, after the recap of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler winning the titles at Payback, we go into what I think is the main event of the night.
It was the best match of the night.
Yeah, that was the real main event. The women's tag team title rematch between Sasha and Bayley and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Like, it was a hard-hitting match.
It was solidly the best match of the night. This was great. And it opens up with BS trying to get the jump on Shayna and Nia. Oh, excuse me. Haystacks and Wednesday. And
that never gets old.
They end up dragging them outside and doing the whole beating him on the barricade thing. But like,
I'm telling you, they were giving him a beating, man.
like in stereo though, like they might as well be like, I was waiting for them to do like YYZ or something, you know? So yeah, Nia and Shayna seem to have the upper hand early on, but eventually the tag team synchronicity of Bayley and Sasha will let them get on top of the match. They're just so in sync. They're whipping off some cool double team moves.
Stick and move. That's what they were doing, taking advantage of Nia.
Yeah, Nia didn't get much offense off in this. I mean, she did at the end, but for the most part, Shayna was getting the offense in, and Nia would come lumbering in, throw something heavy that the BS would dodge, and then that's how BS would get back on top.
Oh yeah, with just a small distraction, they can take advantage of Nia just like that. Bye.
Well, Nia's a tank. Like again, it's the RPG reference. She's a tank. She doesn't do much, offensive damage, but she just sits there and she can absorb stuff all day long.
And when she does damage, it's big damage.
That it is. But man, they hit a cool double team move. Nia was on the apron and Sasha slid under her legs and got her into the powerbomb position. And Bayley came and just kicked her in the face, powerbomb right on the floor, and it looked pretty damn brutal. And it took Nia out of the match for a good long time. So after that, it was kind of Shayna in peril. I mean, she'd hold her own and fight off, but eventually the 2-on-1 would inevitably kind of get on her until she was pressed against the corner and Sasha took some running knees at her and ended up hitting the corner.
That was
Sounded
nasty.
pretty nasty.
That was nasty, man.
Knee pad on a corner, I imagine it wasn't too terrible, but she sold it like she had broke her damn leg. After that, though, Shayna starts working Sasha's knee for most of the rest of the match. The match would, though, end with Nia getting a tag and doing a
crossbody off the second rope, man, just on both of them. On both Bayley and Sasha. 1, 2, 3, because they're not kicking out of that one.
Pins them both.
It's like I just said about the tank. Don't do much, but when it does damage, it damaged badly.
Oh, that's like a Sherman. So Haystacks gets the pin, and after that, the EMTs come and check on Sasha because her knee is just torn to shreds. We even go to commercial and come back, and they're still working on her. She pushes the EMTs away, and Bayley starts to help her.
Too prideful.
Yeah. Bayley starts to help her to the floor out of the ring. She gets her to the apron, and then the thing we've been waiting for forever.
Yes, we knew this. We saw it coming.
And you know what? It didn't happen too late or too soon. It happened just right.
Right on time.
Man, this was great, guys. I actually, you know what? You called this. I thought it was going to happen at Clash of Champions because I thought Sasha was going to cost Bayley her title and then the implosion would happen. But nope. You called it. You talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them what happened. Tell them what happened.
Pretty much, Bayley just whipped the hell out of Sasha.
Snapped.
But at this point, the only women competitors that was really built up are the tag team champions now. So they needed a new opponent for Bayley.
So yeah, this will probably indicate we're going to get Bayley versus Sasha at Clash of Champions, assuming they're not going to sell Sasha's injuries. Because again, we got another person carted down in an ambulance because Bayley doesn't just attack Sasha. This was like Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty level, brutality attack here.
Kane Matt Hardy brutality.
Oh man, she drags her over to the steps and stomps her injured knee over and over again, takes in the ring, hits some finishers, just beats the piss out of her, gets a chair, starts to put her on the leg, which I was kind of rooting for, no lie.
It makes sense.
Do this Bret Hart style, but puts it around her neck and then gives a jumping stomp from the second rope onto the chair, and that's it for Sasha. She's got to be carted out in the ambulance, and that's it for BS, man. So who'd have thought that Bayley was going to be the one to turn complete psycho? But honestly,
actually, I seen that coming too because it happened once the first time, but it was Sasha that turned on Bayley.
I always thought that Bayley's incessant passive aggressiveness, I shouldn't have let you challenge for that title. I should have known you couldn't have done it. Like that kind of crap was going to make Sasha break. But I didn't see Bayley getting frustrated at Sasha for losing over and over again because I'm thinking that's what it was. She's blaming Sasha for the losses, maybe. Because I guarantee you next week when she finally comes out and says why she did it, that'll be the reason.
Oh, yeah. She's going to consider Sasha a liability.
Yeah.
Although she was the one who tapped out.
Because of her arm. I wouldn't have tapped out if it wasn't her arm across my face. It's going to be something stupid like that in asinine. But, again, we're going to keep it going, and this has to need to be the place we go. Bayley's long-term reign needs to be ended by Sasha. Sasha needs to have some sort of legitimate heel or face turn, not just she got beat up by somebody. Or you can play it out that she's isolated so many people. She tries to face turn, but she's been such a bitch for so long that no one wants to support her anymore.
So it's going to be one-on-one legit.
Yeah, there could be a lot of ways we go with this. So I'm interested to see. Because again, you guys have written a good storyline in this one instance, like we keep saying, and there's a lot of places you can go, and I'm looking forward to all of it.
And Bayley and Sasha has proven themselves to be very reliable on this story. They really have. So.
They've been the best so far. I really enjoy it. Kudos.
Yeah, for sure.
So next up, Sami Zayn's out, but he takes a little bit of exception to how he's announced in the ring because he wasn't called the Intercontinental Champion by the ring commentator. So Sami's just fucking brilliant like he always is, man.
Oh, very entertaining, man. It's
so
beautiful.
Funny. It was such a subtle bit. It's very dry. That's why Sami's funny. He's like, yeah, you didn't call me the IC champion. Why not? It wasn't in your notes. Can I talk to? Yeah, come over here. Who's producing tonight? Is it Evan? Yeah, come here. Snatches the headphones off the crew guy. It's like, calls back to the production truck. Yeah, hello? Yeah, this is Sami. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Yes, very good. Yeah, why wasn't I introduced as the IC champ?
Because it's not in the notes.
It was a great bit, though. It was hilarious.
And then it got interrupted by Jeff.
Jeff comes out. He gets about one sentence in before AJ Styles interrupts him.
An interruption among interruptions.
Yeah, and they talk for a second, and then AJ just starts beating on Jeff. Sami looks like he's going to stay out of it, but when he gets involved, AJ attacks him. He's about to hit the Styles Clash when Jeff comes up, hits the Twist of Fate on AJ, and then Jeff eats a haluva kick from Sami, and Sami walks out with his version of the Intercontinental Championship held high.
His Intercontinental Championship, because he is the Intercontinental Champion.
We've done this plenty of times where a champion will go away, they vacate the title, then they come back a while later with their other belt. We get a champion versus champion match. So I'm cool. I'm down to see IC title versus IC title at the Clash of Champions. It'll be a literal Clash of Champions. We'll have Sami versus Jeff. And maybe they'll throw AJ in there and make it a triple threat.
I guess so. I mean,
hang both titles above the ring, make it a TLC match.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be worth the price of admission alone.
I love Sami Zayn's work, man. He does amazing.
When he's in top form and not getting crapped on by the higher ups, he's amazing. Yeah. Sami's like Cesaro, man. You can go with anybody, and he'll usually put a good match on for you. So after this, we find out that Jey Uso is going to be the fourth person in the Fatal 4-Way match, taking Big E's spot.
Interesting.
Super interesting. I think I called the ending whenever they announced him, though. I'm going to
take credit on that one. You called that. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. I'll let you. All right.
We got to work on your rhythm with that, man.
Well, there's not enough.
Of a jump, man.
Well, there's not enough room to do that.
I'm white. Why am I doing this better than you?
I don't have enough room here.
You got enough room? I got enough room. I'm doing it.
And I don't want to ruin these good pants. These are good pants here, man.
That's right. We're breaking stereotypes every day.
These are good pants, man.
They're nice. I got you.
Thank you.
You had some protein shake on your pants. You got some more on the front.
Ew, giggity.
I was trying to do Paul Lynn, but I guess that's close enough. Paul Lynn? No one? So the Fatal 4-Way match is up next, but we do cut backstage and we see Otis and Tucker, and Tucker's, frantic. It's like, I've looked everywhere. I can't find, Morrison. And Otis is like, don't worry. I don't keep the contract in the briefcase. I keep it in the lunchbox, So he's still got the contract safe and sound.
Oh, yeah.
And then they cut to Miz and Morrison. This is great. This is like just like the villains in a Looney Tune where they like open up the case back at the player and it just blows up as a bomb. But he opens it up and there's like a stapler and shredded paper and then a sandwich. And then he tries to eat the sandwich. The Miz has to stop Morrison from eating the sandwich.
I mean, sometimes we get hungry, man.
Morrison is great. Morrison's great. The Miz is great with him.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a little more of the straight man. More of them on television. I'm happy, especially the backstage stuff, because this is ridiculous. It's like one of those like, oh, you thought you stole the contract for the championship, but like it's one of those like you should be so disappointed, but instead it's like, no sandwich,
Yeah, I mean,
like, how can you be mad about a free sandwich?
I mean, he got some kind of reward out of it.
Like your grandma could die, but if you get like a coupon for a free Subway sandwich, it's still a mixed bag of a day, Like, Nana's dead, but free $5 footlong.
Oh yeah. How's it free if it's $5?
Well, it's saying that it's a $5 footlong normally, but you're getting it for free.
That means it's a free footlong.
Look, man, I like alliteration. Look, when I say $5 footlong, you know exactly what I'm referring to. That sandwich shop with the pedophile.
Okay. Yeah. Which is why I don't eat there. I'm not going to say their name.
I fucking miss Quiznos. Their
I do
sandwiches
too.
were toasted and no children were in the process.
I know, right? We miss you, Quiznos. We can say that name.
I miss you, Quiznos. Chicken carbonara. Oh, so good. So good.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, and the Angus beef with the au jus sauce. So after Otis and Tucker do their good bit, we cut to Roman backstage and he's chilling out Brock Lesnar style in his nice cush dressing room. And Jay comes in to thank him a little bit. And Roman's playing up his, his crappy heel demeanor. He tells Jay, he's like, you go out there and, win this one. Jimmy would win this one. So why don't you go see if you can win one on your own? It's be a little crappy,
I know, right?
But Jay, he's trying to still keep it, family and stuff. He's like, thanks him. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go out there and do this, man. It seems like he's trying to ignore the crappy things Roman's saying. And
trying to keep the peace.
He's trying to give him a little leeway because he's family, So you're just like, all right, man, my family's a little bit spiky right now, but, he's family still. So I'll treat him like family. But it's going to explode over the next few weeks. Just see it, man.
Oh, it definitely will.
This is going to help push Roman's take no prisoners heel side because not only is he like just beating up on the Fiend or Braun, people he's had issues with in the past, he's beating up on a family member.
Family's
now.
No exception.
So we'll see how the mind games play over the next few weeks, because Jay will probably try and keep it, very, sportsman-like, while Roman's going to start kind of getting nasty because, he got that Paul Heyman influence going on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But we cut back to the beginning of the Fatal 4-Way match, and Matt Riddle's the only person in the ring, and Baron Corbin's being carried out, by 4 people on the palanquin. What the hell are those things called? I always forget. Anyway, he's being carried on a skiff or whatever the fuck they call, a little chair thing. And he starts complaining about nepotism, and Jay Uso's only in the match because he's related to Roman. But then Matt just bum rushes him. They start the fight off.
Yeah, and then we go into commercial break. And after the commercial break, we go into an episode of the Firefly Funhouse. And
not much of one, though. This is more like a Firefly short.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Bray Wyatt explains, hey, he's sad that his favorite toy is gone. But good news, a new friend is coming. Yay!
So, Braun or Alexa, which one do you think it's going to be?
I'm not sure. But speaking of Alexa, then we cut backstage to them.
Yeah, Nikki's backstage looking frantic. And Alexa shows up looking like she's doing her Harley Quinn cosplay.
Yeah. But did you notice something? Did you notice the same thing I noticed? I don't know if everybody noticed this or not. All right, but if you pull up them in the background, you'll see a picture. Like you see a picture of them backstage. You'll see some small moving figure in the background that looks like one of the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse.
You're gonna make me have to go back and look through that shit, you son of a bitch. All right, see if I can find it.
I don't know if everybody knows that, but I noticed that, which means I think it's Alexa that's gonna be in the Firefly Funhouse.
I hope so. I hope she goes full Sister Abigail, and joins the Funhouse. I hope she goes full freak show.
I noticed 2 dreads in her ponytail.
It just keeps growing. The infection is growing. I do. I hope Alexa goes full bore with this. I hope she joins Bray as a stable, and I hope they put them together for a while. I hope the influence keeps growing.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. I don't care about them being in the title picture now.
No, and again, it's like I said, the Fiend shouldn't really care about the title. It's like the Undertaker used to say, like, the Undertaker used to talk to other wrestlers, like, you need to carry that title, around you. You need to show respect. He's like, the reason I don't strap it around me and I just throw it over my shoulder and stuff is because the dead man as a character shouldn't show care for corporeal things and stuff. The Fiend's the same way. He shouldn't have so much worry about being a champion in a federation. That's not his end game. His end game is to tear it all down and to punish people and things of that nature. So he didn't really address the championship as far as just going, oh, he said he doesn't have it, but he immediately moved on to something else. And I think that's good for him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then having Alexa right afterwards, definitely connects the two in all of us as viewers' minds. And I hope they keep pushing the Alexa as the new member of the fun house, I guess, or whatever it is.
Which I think is her. Like I said, I seen the puppet in the background.
Here's hoping. Or maybe she's just going to be dating Horace the Pig the same way Mandy's dating Otis because now they like to put hot girls with fat guys because apparently this is sitcoms in the early 2000s. Actually, I'm okay with it, man. You keep putting that down there. Like, as far as all the bullshit that media puts out, as far as, trying to normalize shit, that's the one thing I'm okay with them normalizing is hot chicks with fat guys because it's definitely played like gangbusters for me.
Yeah, sure. So once everybody comes out, the match gets started. And as I expected, honestly, Corbin tried to go after somebody, eats a super kick and rolls out.
Yeah, it was a fairly, everyone got their spots in. It was fairly good back and forth. Jay put on a pretty good show. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't nearly as memorable as the women's tag team earlier.
No.
It just kind of was. And we got a flurry of finishers at the end. Corbin ends up eating a brogue kick. And then Sheamus ends up eating a bro to sleep, followed by Corbin getting a floating bro from Matt. But as soon as Matt lands the floating bro, here comes Jay out of nowhere with the frog splash. 1, 2, 3. We got cousin versus cousin at Clash of Champions. Jay's going on to face Roman. And I'm glad that Jay is getting some spotlight on his own, man. I'm glad that one of the Usos is. And I'm one of those people who can't tell them apart. I know I'm a shitty person. Sorry. But I'm glad to see one of the Usos getting a little bit of single stuff.
Yeah.
Just getting a little bit of screen time. I guarantee you Roman asked for this. And Roman was like, hey, man, if I'm going to come back, even though I'm like, dying of cancer and there's an epidemic on, if you want me to come back on television, why don't you give my cousin a little bit of a nudge too here? So I'm cool with it. I'm glad to see it. I guarantee you Roman wanted to work with his cousin backstage. I can almost promise you that. If not that, then Paul suggested as a storyline arc to be like, you should fight your family because that'll even push you further over. That's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
This was either Paul's idea for the story or this was Roman's idea to support his family. And either way, I'm
with it.
Yeah.
I am with it, man. I love it. I'm looking forward to Clash of Champions. Look like a great setup for overall for Clash of Champions.
Yeah, because we're probably gonna get Sasha versus Bayley. We're gonna get Jay versus Roman. We're gonna get Drew versus Randy. What are the tag team titles doing?
I don't think we set that up yet.
What about the USA? We set that one up. We'll probably get a repeat of Apollo versus Lashley.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be Apollo versus Lashley.
Okay, whatever. Decent episode of Smackdown tonight. And again, I find myself loving Smackdown more and more each week just because it's 2 hours long.
Oh, yeah. And like they're really it's really draining watching Raw for 3 hours. Not even gonna lie. Like, no disrespect intended, but it's kind of dragging.
2 hours is plenty for a wrestling show, y'all.
It really is.
But good episode. The main event was not as good as the women's tag team, which definitely stole the show tonight. Shayna Baszler is awesome. Nia Jax is good. Sasha and Bayley's implosion happening tonight was definitely the crown jewel of the evening and something we'll remember.
And something we've been waiting on.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us here. We are going to be recording some new stuff this Sunday, so hopefully they'll be out to you this next week. And, of course, as far as Heels Up go, we will see you for the Raw review this coming week. Have a good night, y'all.